Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to some Don't Starve Together. So it's been a while since I've taken a look at this, and I just wanted to sort of get back into it and see how things have changed, see how things have stayed the same, and just get that sort of general idea of things. I'm probably going to die immediately because I'm not going to be able to find what I need to pick a torch. And that's going to be a thing. But the way that this game is, they've improved it quite a lot since the last time I saw it, and I think that it's taken a lot of steps in a good direction. I like a lot of the stuff that's gone on. They've added a lot more of the content that you see in Reign of Giants, for instance. So it's got a lot more of that complexity that you want out of it. It felt really hollow back when I started playing it and sort of decided I'd wait a little bit to see how it was going. And they've made a lot of those dramatic improvements over it, but there's still some weird things that can happen, like you can spawn in very close to night, which is a little bit odd. I think that they should still give you some torches and maybe some fire equipment if you're going to spawn in at night, or if you spawn in winter, or if you spawn in summer. They should just spawn you in with some of the stuff that you need to survive those, because it's sort of weird spawning into these without what you need to survive, even just like being in the server. That's not really interesting. But I think that the game experience for this is still mostly focused around playing with like friends in a dedicated server, just the two of you, or three of you, or four of you, or however many you've sort of gathered together. I think that's the ultimate experience that they've got, that they envision people having with this, as opposed to these drop-in, drop-out servers. Now, I actually like these drop-in, drop-out servers for one thing in particular, and that is sort of like anthropology, basically. You just go in and like you watch other people and you look at their bases and you sort of like creep around the bushes like some sort of crazed stalker or whatever. Just be like, yeah, the wild Wilson or whatever in his natural habitat. You need to have the hat that is appropriate for a person who does that sort of thing. But yeah, the game itself is very, very similar to Don't Starve, except with less resources, because usually a player has come through and collected them all, and that's kind of why I have not found a flint. Like, flint, I've noticed, is very, very hard to come by in Don't Starve Together worlds, which is fine. I am also noticing that the nights are a lot shorter, and I'm not sure why. Ah, flint. Perfect. They're calling for food, but I'm greedy and selfish and only have a little bit, so I'm gonna hoard it for myself, like a greedy person. Alright, there we go. Just want to get as much stuff as possible as always, but yeah, adventure archaeology is something that I think is fun to do, and I've kind of been doing a little bit in Don't Starve Together. Is just you drop into an empty world and you see the sort of bases that real people have actually made, and sort of like living conditions that they've made for themselves, and the resources that they had. You don't take anything, of course, that would be rude, but like you look for a camp full of dead corpses, because like if someone dies in this, they leave a skeleton behind. And so that's actually really interesting to me, is just seeing like what killed everybody, where people died, what's going on. Got a person named Assassin in here, just joined in. And yeah, I think that that's sort of one of the funner things, is going to more older established worlds. This one's only 3 days old in game, so it's not like the biggest game. You can see it says day 1 for me. I've kind of noticed that this world actually spawns you in and says that, you know, it's only day 1 for you, even if the server's like a million years old. And it kind of also gives you some leeway as to whether or not it's going to... Oh no, Gypsy Danger was turned into a spooky ghost. But yeah, so... Oh crap. One of the things is that as long as there's a spooky ghost on here, it seems to sap my sanity a little bit. You'd think that they would have to be a little bit closer, but apparently not. But yeah, I've noticed that, for instance, if it's day 48 and you hear the hounds going off, but it's day 1 to you, the hounds don't show up. Like, the hounds will start yowling, but they'll only go after somebody who's got a higher day count. So there seems to be a little bit of adjustment for that sort of stuff. Not really sure how that works or what's going on there. Go away, ghost. Go away, spooky ghost. Alright, so maybe I should just collect enough. Ah, good, okay. Our spooky ghost friend was resurrected by a touchstone, so that's all fixed. You can also make a telltale heart out of hit points and grass, if I recall. And that fixes that problem. I think I can actually build one now. Abigail's flower. I can make a new Abigail's flower. Since when could I do that? Okay, but in any event, it looks like, actually no. Telltale Hearts. Where are you? Ah, here it is. Oh, I need a bunch of grass and I need a spider gland is what it was. Okay, I think it also takes some of your health or your sanity or something like that, but yeah, that's something you can use to resurrect one of your dead friends, which is quite interesting. Alright. But yeah, I've noticed a lot of things about this so far, but the fact that it's full of features, you know, makes it really worth checking out by contrast to what it was before. Like, before it was so sparse feeling after playing Reign of Giants that when you came back to this, it just didn't feel like a full or complete experience. Now it feels a lot more complete. I mean, it's also got, of course, the much smoother performance. Like, you can remember what it was like when I first showcased this, and it was really, really laggy, and it had a lot of latency and stuff like that. This is much smoother experience than it was before, so this is a dramatic improvement over that. I do think that they need to do some of the balance things that I was talking about earlier for people who are dropping into these dedicated server worlds. But again, I don't think the core experience that they're aiming for was that sort of idea of just dropping into a world that already has existed for a long time and doing that. I think they were expecting more along the lines of you have a world that your character like lived in and had been there since day one or whatever. But I mean, that's not the only way that the game plays out, and I think that having it be sort of emergent is kind of interesting. Although, given that it is so hard to survive, I think it is also interesting to note that some places that you go to, like you spawn and instantly you're standing in a base that has some resources collected for newbies, and I think that that's sort of an interesting dynamic there. Alright, let's pick all this stuff up. So, yeah. Not sure what these people are talking about. I've not been paying that much attention to it. Alrighty. But yeah, no, the state of this is much, much more playable. I spent a lot of time away from it because I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to wait till this is in a more complete state because it's not going to be enjoyable if I play it as it is right now. And I think that this is something that I'm going to be able to enjoy. So I'm going to try and... I think now is the point where I'm going to try and figure out a way to play this, and I'll see how I want to do this. Like, I might just invite people who are already on my Steam friends list and have a go at that, or I might do an open server and see who's around. Just announced on my Twitter that I'm going to be doing it. I haven't been using my Twitter very effectively or much at all, but I might do that. So we'll have an announcement somewhere at some point in time, and I'll see who I can get to join me for a quick romp through a world of Don't Starve. That should be pretty interesting. But we could even just form a swarm of adventure archaeologists and invade people's unlocked worlds, and just have a whole bunch of us just swarming around, looking like, oh, look at this person's home, how interesting. Let's all take notes, take pictures, take screen caps of us all swarming over these people's poor people's houses. And that would probably be kind of hilarious and trolly, but just as long as you don't touch anything, it's fine. Observe people in their natural habitats. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, found a garden gnome in there. I've never actually found a garden gnome in a tumbleweed. I found a lot of crazy things in a tumbleweed, but never a treasure. So that's kind of nice. But, yeah, anyway, that's our... Wow, holy crap. But anyway, yeah, that's our quick look at Don't Starve Together and the state of it as it is now, as opposed to when I first was looking at it. This is a much, much improved experience. So anyway, I hope you found this video enjoyable, and as always, I hope to see you all next time.